Hello again, everyone. I'm Dr. George Simon, and welcome to another edition of the new Character Matters program. This is the program where we talk about what I consider to be the defining issue of our time, the character crisis that we've been in for several decades now, and that affects every aspect of our lives. We've always, as human beings, had character problems. But certain cultural factors and other factors have magnified our character problems so substantially. And for decades now, we've been feeling the effects of that. That's why it's so important that we turn things around. And that's what I have dedicated my professional life to trying to help do. In my books and in my many articles online at drgeorgesimon.com. That's drgeorgesimon.com. I want to first thank everyone for all the well wishes as I recovered from COVID. And today I want to begin a new series, a more in-depth discussion about narcissism and all of its various manifestations. Narcissism is a hot topic these days. It has been for a while now. And while there's a lot of good information out there, there's a lot of inaccurate information as well. There seems to be an expert around every corner. And I'm especially troubled when I hear narcissist this or narcissist that, as if we're talking about a singular and distinctive category. We're not. Narcissism is a dimension of personality for sure. It is an aspect of a person's character. But narcissists vary, both as to type and degree. As I first made the case in my book, Character Disturbance of all types is a spectrum phenomenon. And just exactly how a person shapes up in character matters. Today, I want to talk about two features of a particular kind of narcissism that are significant red flags for a possibly malignant form of narcissism. I want to talk about glibness and smugness. What does it mean to be glib? To be glib is to have an easy facility with the words and with one's style. The glib person seems to be a rather smooth talker and a smooth operator. They know just what to say. The words roll off their tongue very easily and casually. Many times the words are flattering, but something within us almost always churns and suggests that there's an insincerity behind the words. This doesn't always happen. Our sense of self might not be all that well developed, and how in tune we are with our hearts and with our intuition varies too. So even though it's impossible to hide glibness, it's sometimes difficult to see it. But if you have a solid sense of self, and if you're in touch with yourself, something inside should say, you know, something tells me this person is up to something. Maybe they want something. What's their angle? Why this act that seems charming at one level, but also kind of disgusting and revolting on another level? It's the superficiality of the smooth talk and the smooth operating that should get to us. It doesn't always, however. Nonetheless, glibness is a sign for a rather serious character pathology. Now, sometimes glibness is accompanied by another crucial sign about possible severe character pathology, and that's smugness. The smug person is pathologically self-satisfied. They have great comfort with the way they operate, with the way they do things, with the way they see things, with who they are. And therefore, they have no incentive to grow, no incentive to change. They're confident that their ways will work and that they have the personal resources to possibly use and exploit others. Now, when these two signs are present together, you should be especially weary. It's one thing to be a charmer, it's one thing to be a flatterer, and it's one thing to be self-assured. But there are those individuals among us who just know that they have the way to worm their way into your heart space, into your life. And therein lies a real telltale dynamic. For the truly disturbed character is a thief. They want what most people feel an obligation to earn for nothing. Contrary to folks with decent character, they want the most precious things in life, including the winning of your heart or having their way with you. Having you. They want that for an unfair price, for the price of a smile, a glance, just the right words, just the right way of operating and seducing, as opposed to really proving their loyalty, their sincerity, their genuineness, or feeling even an obligation to do so. They have the heart of a thief, and they're happy to take what pleases them, even if it's at your expense. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to be talking about the more malignant forms of narcissism and the signs to look for. Signs are objective behavioral indications that something is amiss, as opposed to a symptom, which is a subjective experience that someone reports. And glibness and smugness are two significant signs, and they're impossible to conceal. Folks that display these behaviors almost can't help it. But despite the fact that these behaviors are impossible to conceal, we can fail to see them. And that's why I'll be talking more about these things in the coming weeks. And you can also read about these things on my blog in several articles, including the most recent post at drgeorgesimon.com. So until next time, I thank you for tuning in. Once again, I thank all those who sent me well wishes as I was recovering from COVID. And I would ask you to avail yourself, if you have a mind to, of all my books, especially my most recent book, Essentials for the Journey, Embracing and Living the 10 Commandments of Character, Proven Principles for Psychological, Emotional, and Spiritual Health. Once again, until next time, thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. George Simon. Take care.